As a child, I had the privilege of spending a lot of time at the ocean. I've always felt very close to God here. When I was a little girl, I remember this time when my father and I went swimming. It was at a natural tidal pool, and that day there was no one else in the water, and the water was pretty rough. It's like these deep ocean waves that come crashing into these natural rocks and then they flood out again. And I was standing at the ledge looking at him, and he opened his arms and told me to jump. And when my father tells me to jump, I jump. He didn't actually think I would. I jumped in and that water was rough. He fought to get both of us out of that water, but he did, and it all was fine. And the other day I was standing there getting ready to swim again, but the water was really cold, and I started thinking of all the waves and the cold, and I was overthinking it so much that it took me a really long time to jump in and swim. And when I was younger, I didn't have all of these thoughts in my mind. There's been times when God told me to jump and to take big steps of faith, and I took them without any fear, without really thinking about it, because I trusted Him and I knew that His heart for me was good and that He had big plans and purposes for my life. And I've gone through seasons where there's been a lot of uncertainty and change, and what I thought my life would look like is nothing what it looks like today. And it really disconnected me from being present in the season that I'm in. I became disconnected from God and from the people that I love, and in my mind I was always in the future. There's this prophecy in Hosea where God says, "Behold, I will allure her and bring her into the wilderness. I will betroth you to me forever. Yes, I will betroth you to me. In righteousness and justice, in loving kindness and mercy, I will betroth you to me in faithfulness, and you shall know the Lord." When God led the Israelites out of Egypt into the desert, they were headed for the promised land, but He led them to the desert to draw them nearer to Him. And they were so focused on what they didn't have and of just being in the desert that they didn't realize God's provision for them in that season. He gave them a cloud to cover the sun in the heat of the day. He gave them fire in the cold of the night. He gave them food, He gave them water, He gave them everything they needed so that they could connect with Him. And when the time came for the Israelites to actually enter into the promised land, they heard of the giants and they heard of the obstacles that they had to overcome, and they forgot what God has already done for them. They forgot that He protected them from the plagues and the pestilences in Egypt. They forgot that God opened the Red Sea for them. They forgot to trust. You know, as I realized this, it's like in a moment a light went on in my head. That sense of trust that I had when I was a child, when my father said jump, I need to get back to that place where I trust my Father again. I can so clearly see His faithfulness. Realized I can still trust God even though I don't know what my promised land looks like or what the future holds. I know that I can trust God, and when He says jump, I can jump. If you feel like you're in a desert season and you just can't see the promised land and you can't see the promises that God has for you, I pray that He will open your eyes to show you the blessings that you do have. And you don't have to wait to enter into those promises, to walk in everything that God has for you. He has joy for you. He has provision for you. He is with you. He loves you. He delights Himself in you. He says, trust me. I pray that you will fully comprehend and know the love that God has for you, because when you fully know that love, you can fully trust. And when you can fully trust, you can live that life that He has planned for you.
Amen. And it's always good to be reminded of God's faithfulness. I want to invite you to join the TPI family by going on our website and hit the subscribe button. You'll receive personal monthly video messages with prayers and words of encouragement from me and the TPI family. Plus, you'll be up to date with all things TPI. Now, the best part of it, it's free to subscribe. So take a moment to do it now.